25th of March around 2 p.m. It's a quick Indipac update. Abdullah's been smashing it out, of course. He's just gone through 3,472 kilometres from the start. He's doing 42.9 kilometres an hour, so he must have a bit of a tailwind there. He's going downhill. Looking at the wind map just a minute ago, it looks like west-southwesterlies, more west than anything else, in South Australia. So the riders who are making their way to the Port Augusta and that sort of area are really cruising along quite well. I checked out Rupert before. He was doing 30 odd kilometres an hour. And Rupert's just gone through the 2,005 kilometre mark, so well done, Rupert. That's fantastic work. He's tearing it up. After all these tricky days, I reckon they'll be enjoying this. I was alerted to an interesting fact about Joseph Kendrick. He's on his way to Port Augusta. He's doing really well, 2,327 kilometres, but a kind person on YouTube comments said that he's on a fixed wheel bike. So I looked him up, and sure enough, Joseph Kendrick from London is on a fixie, riding all the way from Perth to Sydney on a fixed wheel bike. That's just, insane, really. But anyway, he's doing that, so that was a really interesting thing. There's a whole group of riders around Port Augusta now, just heading down. Of course, we talked about Abdullah's like miles off, coming into close to Lawn or something now. Stefan's coming second. He's just about to hit the 3,000k mark, so he's done really well. The Dark Knight now is in third, which is fantastic. It looks like he's having a break by a little bit, but is basically in third position at the moment. Dan Welsh is fourth, and Rhino's coming up really well behind. They've got more of a sort of a crosswind where they're riding, so it might be a little bit trickier. But he's done 2,910 kilometres, so Rhino's doing really well. So that's the sort of first few riders. Sully's coming in just north of Adelaide right now. So he's from Geelong, 33-year-old. Callum Henderson, so he's heading down towards Adelaide as well, 2,753 kilometres from the start, so that's looking pretty good for him. And there's a smattering of people. There's Rowan, there's Grumpy Bug coming down from there as well, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there's a Rizza has just got to Port Augusta, but he's having a bit of a break, I reckon, having something to eat. It's interesting, on YouTube before, I found from Bicycling Australia, they did an interview with Abdullah at a service station. He was just having a break refuelling, and he was saying that across the Nullarbor he rode a lot at night, so he didn't have to worry about sunscreen and that sort of thing so much, and it was cooler. But getting enough food's really tricky, as we've touched on before. So he was just living on chips and nuts and whatever he could, and then drinking lots of Gatorade. And then he found, when he finally got back to more civilization, he found a Hungry Jack's and had 3 veggie burgers in a row. So trying to get the calories in, I'd say, Abdullah. But those little things are really interesting when you see little bits and pieces that people have been doing along the way. But Abdullah's just, incredible. He's still doing about 43 kilometres an hour. So he must have that tailwind that's going to be really helpful to get down to Lawn and across to Melbourne. So he had a bit of a break last night, which is well deserved. On his Strava, it came up, he did 521.6 kilometres yesterday, so moving time 20 hours and 19 minutes and 51 seconds, so 521 kilometres in one leg is just sensational, from Adelaide down to close to Warrnambool, I think it was, where he ended up staying. So that was it was Warrnambool by the look of it. So that's just ridiculously good. So he's just blasting off into the distance. But it's really exciting to watch this. I mean, every chance I get, I'll do a bit of dot watching and just see how people are sort of travelling. So it's all looking pretty good. Weather's been okay. They haven't needed their raincoats yet. So it's really only the wind and the terrain that they're sort of having to deal with, and of course the fatigue. The Nullarborians, most of them have actually got over it now. There's a few at the Nullarbor Roadhouse. There's about 4 or 5 people camped up there at the moment. A few have left. And there's the Border Roadhouse. There's a couple there. And then Narelle is still on the Nullarbor heading towards the middle there. So she's just knocked through 1,216 kilometres. But she's got a bit of work ahead of her, I'd say, but hopefully she's enjoying it. She likes wandering on her bike, she says, and seeing the country, so she's got plenty of time to do that. Yeah, so basically that's the update, 2 p.m. on Sunday. So yeah, keep an eye out for the riders. They're all going well. If you live in these major cities and you can get out and sort of cheer them on or just check them out or go for a ride with them or something, you should try and do that, I reckon. But there we go, next update done. See you later.